So last week I did my first ever race on Zwift. It didn't go too well and I pretty much came last. If you haven't already seen that video, go check it out. So now I'm doing my second ever race, but my first race within my actual range. So hopefully it goes a lot better, I don't get dropped, and I can come top 10. So little disclosure, I was cooking just before this and I wasn't planning on doing a race. So I did have a little bit of wine, but it wasn't too much and I didn't want to miss this opportunity. So I was meant to do a warm-up before the race, but I was having problems with connecting my watch to my trainer, so I wasn't able to see my heart rate on screen. This means I started cycling literally seconds before and had to go hard right as I started, as I was told to do so by so many of you in my last video. Despite starting a lot harder than last time, it seems that other people here still started way harder than I expected, and there was already a long line forming and I was getting dropped. I tried sticking to a pack so that I could get some draft, as I was told people start really hard and then level out after a few minutes. I found a group and decided to stick with them for now. I did see the pack up the road and thought I could bridge across to them, but then decided against it because it would take too much out of me. Then these guys kind of started to pull away from me, so I had to put down some power just to keep with them. After a bit, they started pulling away from me and I already knew at this point that this was not the group I should be with for this race. So I saw a group 15 seconds behind me and decided to wait for them and then join them so that I still had a chance to draft off people and do well this race. It turns out I waited a bit too hard and then I had to put down more power again just to join them. Considering my FTP is somewhere between 160 and 180 and my average power so far is 160 with 14 Ks to go, I wasn't too sure if my decisions had been the best so far, but I was really stoked to be able to do this, as I already feel some improvements from my last race where I averaged 150 watts for 24 minutes. I'm also not the best with power-ups. I'm still new to Zwift, so I popped my aero power-up on the first little hill. The group starts pulling apart at this point, with the front of the group pulling away pretty fast. I didn't want to lose them, as I knew this is where most of the group were, and I really needed to keep drafting if I wanted to survive. I won't lie, I'm already really tired and hot despite having a fan on me from having to push so much so early. The group then pulls away and it ends up being just me and this guy riding at a similar pace, so I decided to stay with him and draft for a bit. After the race, I learned his name is Rob. Then after a while of Rob pulling on the front, I took my turn at the front, which was very short-lived, and then we got to the next little steep hill. So Rob completely dropped me here, and suddenly I was all alone with no draft and tired legs. Next up comes the proper climb for the race, which I had no idea would last for so long, and I can still see Rob in front of me with just 3 seconds between us, so I keep a steady rhythm and try to catch him. I started closing down on Rob again, but just as I thought I could catch him and stick with him again, he left me. Again. I didn't see Rob again until he liked my activity after the race. Thanks for helping with the draft, Rob. I tried staying at a consistent 90 RPM here with my cadence for the rest of the hill and thought because of me weighing around 84 kgs, I'll catch up with some people on the downhill with a few people not that far in front of me. And then I got disconnected, so I could not see anyone's times anymore. I think this is due to my trainer and laptop being in the furthest room in my house from the router, and I wasn't sure if I could get reconnected to the race again, but I just have to keep going and hope that I can. Then starts the next climb. Not being able to see anyone ahead of me that I can try and close the gap on makes it a bit tougher, but I stayed focused and kept my RPM at a good rhythm so that I at least stay consistent. I'm still hoping to reconnect to the race throughout this climb, but it just isn't happening, and I'm not sure if it will at all, but I just had to keep going, as even if I'm not racing anymore, I'm still cycling and I'm still improving my fitness, and once again, I'm left with my favorite person to race, myself. And then, just after finishing the climb, with my average watts now at 145, which is pretty good for me, I start the descent and I get some really good news. I've been reconnected back to the race and I can see people's times again. However, I am now 41st. But this still gives me a really big push of motivation. Now, with 2.5 kilometers to go and 2 riders only 13 seconds ahead of me, I brought out my secret weapon. Anyone that saw my previous video already knows exactly what this is. Metallica. With Metallica and some good watts, I see I've got the 2 riders in front of me down to 10 seconds, so I keep pushing, but then I get disconnected again at the worst time, but I don't let this get to me and I keep pushing. At the final little hill here, I'm really hoping I've closed down some good time on these 2 riders while not being able to see them. At the top, I let my legs recover for a few seconds and then put a bit more power again while trying to save some energy for the last 100 meters. Where I gave everything I had left. I then had to sit there and wait and hope that I got reconnected again and that all of that still counted for the race. And then I got it. 41st. Nowhere near the top 10, but I did manage to close the gap to the rider in front of me down to around 5.5 seconds. So that's still a positive, and I still averaged 149 watts for 37 minutes, which for me is honestly pretty good. My racing score did go down again from 120 to 116, unfortunately, but at least I'm still getting closer now to what my actual level is. I'm not going to lie to you and say I could have done more there. I really did give it my all, and afterwards I kind of had to sit down for about 10 minutes because I genuinely felt like throwing up. I think it really just shows the level that I'm currently at and how much room I still have to grow. So my takeaways from this race: get way more fit, start even harder than this time, and no whine when racing. So for now, I'm going to focus on my training, being consistent, and most importantly, enjoying it. And I really am enjoying it. Let me know in the comments if you'd be keen to see a video on my indoor training setup, and if you'd like to see some content of me doing some cinematic videos cycling on the road. Thank you so much to everyone for all the support recently. It's really been unreal. See you next week.